So this is PAMCast for April 21st, 2026. This is for existing TechIDManager partners, people who know what TechIDManager is and are interested in it and want to know what we've done and where we're headed. We are not going to talk about what TechIDManager is. If you're interested in what TechIDManager is, check out our monthly demo on the second Thursday, some Thursday. It's on our website, techidmanager.com. Has information about it. You can request a one-off demo there. This is for people who know what TechIDManager is and want to see what we're up to. We pull back the curtain. We're a little more transparent about what the company is, where we're going, things that have changed. All right. I'm 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗶𝗀, founder and CEO, CTO of Ruffian Software. Ruffian Software is the company. TechIDManager is our product. We have several other products in the works that are coming. And what have we been up to? What are we doing? Here is our agenda for today. The picture above my head here, 𝗤𝗵𝗶𝗀 created little graphic, kind of shows the major things we've been up to in the last month. If you've been here for any length of time, you have seen the SOC 2 compliance work been on this list. As some of the more redneck people among us might say, done been on this list for a while. It has finally started. We've started our SOC 2 audit. We have a time frame on when we'll get the reports and when they're going to ask questions and all that kind of stuff. The audit has officially started. Paid for started. We'll get a report for our SOC 2 Type 1 audit in, I believe, 60 days. That was a major portion of more than 40% of the company this past month and a few months before that, but like really pushing hard in the last month to get that audit started. And we will see where it goes. We're kind of excited about it to see what it says, what it does, how it goes. That has been a large portion of what this company's been up to. And it got started, which is such a relief. I love to see it. The other thing we have really been up to this month is scaling and speeding up TechIDManager. That has really been, as we go through the details of this month, you'll see that that is really the theme that is coherent across all the product line this month has been scale and speed. We have several partners that have deployed at a larger scale than anyone in the history of TechIDManager. And there have been growing pains with that. And we are working our way through those. Server allocation, optimizations on different algorithms. As someone who I went to computer engineering college. I went to college for computer engineering at Clemson University. I learned about all the algorithmic stuff, order in, order constant, and how algorithms take different times. And like at smaller scale, lots of different algorithms are indistinguishable in speed. But as the numbers get larger, a lot of those algorithms require to change to make things faster. So that has been a large portion of this month as we have finally hit that inflection point where some of the algorithms used internally were correct and will work. They weren't fast enough. So we have had to rewrite quite a bit of stuff to grow to the scale that we want to scale with. There are a lot of boring technical details there that are just like my bread and butter, but I'm sure you don't want to hear about them. So in essence, speed and scale, it's what we've been up to this month. There's not really been much else that's gone on this month except SOC 2 audit and speed and scale. Some of those things that we are speeding and scaling up, the TechID client for Windows version 6.4.8.7 has some significant speed increases in it if you have more than 5,000 agents that a particular individual technician has access to, both in loading, refreshing, updating, bread and butter. Things I love. Went from some lists to some dictionaries internally, went from some full updates, full list replacements to list updatings internally. It is significantly faster, which is pretty good. If you have probably less than 4,000 or 5,000 agents in your TechID client, you probably won't notice a difference. If you have more than that, you should notice a difference. If you have less, you probably won't notice a difference. You really have to get to some large numbers for these changes to really have a need. We have the TechID agent Windows version 6.460. This was a pretty quick iteration after 6.450. 6.450 had a bug in it that rotated too often shared accounts. 460 fixed that, did some other code cleanup, and helped with the speed issues talking to the TechID host. There was some extra network chatter that we removed there. There's going to be another iteration of the agent that goes out pretty soon that has some additional iterations on that reducing network chatter and network traffic. If you have been here for the last couple of months, you've also seen the 𝗕𝗏𝐼D agent with static and dynamic groups in it, been in the coming soon. We got that done, released, tested, out the door. This includes dynamic group ignoring and static group membership management, as well as optional management of groups in 𝗕𝗏𝐼D. If you look at the release notes for the TechID agent 𝗕𝗏𝐼D 6.475, there is a new option that you can set in the portal to have the TechID agent either manage or not manage static group membership to do anything that you want to do. If you put a technician in a group in 𝗕𝗏𝐼D, that group can have a lot of different access, things it does, things it doesn't do, allowed, not allowed, in addition to setting the rights that are specific to that technician account. This should give you pretty extensive control over any build of the account for a technician 𝗕𝗏𝐼D. This was originally requested by some of our partners because they wanted to grant ownership of resource groups and other resources in 𝗕𝗏𝐼D to TechIDManager managed technicians. The way they did this is they have a static group or a dynamic group in 𝗕𝗏𝐼D that grants ownership to resources if you're a member of that group. Then when TechIDManager makes the account for the technician, it adds it to that group, make sure only those people are in that group, and then they have ownership of all those resources without specifically being named as owners of those resources. These partners also created that same group in all of their 𝗕𝗏𝐼D tenants, so they only had to assign that once in the TechID portal as a right, and then technicians get ownership of all the resources that they should have access to in order to do the management and 𝗕𝗏𝐼D that they needed access to. It's pretty cool. It works really well. Try it out. If you have questions, support@techidmanager.com. TechID portal and TechID host, those are really the core of a lot of the speed changes that we made. As several partners have scaled up to larger and larger deployments, things like how fast you can load the triplet access report, how fast a particular agent can get the list of 100 or 200 technicians and the 10 to 20 rights they have. So like that number times the number of technicians is how many entries that need back, how many entries the host has to generate. Talking about 3,000 to 4,000 rights that each agent of 10, 20,000 agents is asking for each hour to know what to set or not set. The math there grows pretty quick. It's a geometric growth problem. We have done a lot of optimization to speed that up. There are still some areas where we're working on that speed and the optimization for that, specifically with the triplets and the management of triplets and the triplet access report. So like that's what that is. It's just faster, and we're making it faster still. Pages have been added with a consistent style throughout the portal and throughout the host. There used to be some rather inconsistent filtering and paging on different types and different reports and different lists of things in the TechID portal. That all, with some pretty major effort, all that has been collated into one coherent style of what each page looks like, how the filtering works on each page. And that is being worked through. Let's work through all the major top level stuff. And we are working that through some of the more deeply hidden pages that you don't really usually see. So that same pages and filtering should be by the end of this month. Right now, it's almost all consistent. Probably 10% of the pages, 1% of the pages by use are not consistent. And we are going through and making those consistent. The APIs for that are all in the Swagger docs. They're all called _pages, which lets you use the server to filter the list of whatever to whatever it is you want and get back a size of pages for it. If you have questions, we're here to help. TechIDManager or support@techidmanager.com, like always. So these are the major new features, most of which are speed related and scale related, that we have put out this month, in end of March, most of April, in addition to tax day, because everybody did tax day, unless you're an extension, if you filed for extensions. That's really tangential, doesn't matter. We've also been in contact with people that are using some of the lesser known features like the TechID Vault and the TechID Login. So you can see for next time, there are some improvements coming to the Vault. You'll be able to, how to explain this. The Vault was originally envisioned as managers set it up, technicians use it. There are a lot of people that are like, well, that's great, but there are also times, use cases and workflows where technicians need to set it up. They need to be able to create passwords, which they can do. They need to put them on leaves, do some organizational stuff. So all that's coming to the TechID client for the Vault passwords, for TechID Vault. It will really round out. We've added notes a couple months ago. As the TechID Vault is getting used more and more, we're fleshing out the feature set on it. TechID Login is very cool. I love it. It's where a technician can walk up to a machine, choose his name, approve that login from the TechID client, and get logged in. As released with the TechID Agent Windows 6.4.6.0, that works for local accounts. It works for domain accounts. It works for domain joined machines. It does not work right now for a workgroup machine that is Entra ID joined only, because the Windows credential provider tile does a lot of different stuff when it's Entra ID joined versus local or AD joined. We are addressing that. That should come out pretty soon. Yeah, it's a really cool feature. I like it a lot. Those tiles are a nice way to speed the way that a technician gains access to a machine and ensure that they're who they say are. Along with that, we also have a feature coming where for machines and agents that have TechID Login enabled, you can prevent password visibility and force technicians to use the TechID Login. This is to cover some edge cases on security. There's also a feature coming where for a TechID Login, a manager will have to approve in real time the login for the technician. A two-step, two-person approval for login to machines. It's coming. It's pretty cool. One of our partners requested it. If you have something in TechIDManager that you want, let us know. That is the biggest way in which TechIDManager as a product grows. We get partner requests, we filter them into our roadmap, roll them out. And then this one right there, major new feature. I added a letter to the major new feature. This month we haven't touched it, so it's still on that list. This month was all scale and speed and SOC 2 audits, and we just didn't have manpower and dev resources to work on this new feature. We love it. I'm using it internally. A couple other people are using it internally. Works great. It just needs the polish to be made into a feature. So if you have guesses at what it is, put it down below. We'd love to see guesses. There will be some contest at some point for the person who guesses it first and right, if you haven't already guessed it. stay tuned for that. And as always, there is a newsletter where when we do these releases, we try to send out a newsletter that talks about them. TechIDManager.com/newsletter will let you sign up for that. And to address one more issue, let's roll back up to the releases for, let me point at it, it's hard to point, right there. The TechID host and TechID portal version 6.5.0 for self-hosted clients. We have done a ton of work to make the releases for TechID host and TechID portal super portable so they can be easily done, and we can keep self-hosted partners up to date with the production releases. We went through a whole bunch of work technically 2 months ago to make that happen. We added license files, did release stuff, release build stuff. And we thought we had it. Well, we got the technical portion of self-hosted quicker releases and keeping up with production schedule done. We did not figure out the process piece of that. So that is in the works, so that before the next PAMCast, we will have a process in place to support the technical changes we did so that self-hosted clients stay up to date with TechID portal and TechID host. There is the possibility that we'll have auto updating in place for the TechID host. Probably not for the portal, but maybe. That's really like fourth on the dev priority list, but it's pretty important to our self-hosted. So like if you're a self-hosted client, it's number one on our priority list. No, not really. It's there. We are working on it. We've been contacted by some of you who are doing a phenomenal job paying attention and seeing the releases on our website and being like, hey, how do we get this? Because we're self-hosted. And like, we make sure that all the important ones go out. A bunch of the smaller scaling stuff, we did not release to the self-hosted clients. That's coming. And auto update for self-hosted clients is there in the TechID host that you have and the TechID portal that you have, 6.4.4.8. We just haven't sent you the release packages to allow you to auto update your agents. I promise that's coming. We are working on it. The SOC 2 audit and the scaling and speeding have really sucked up the entire company's time. All the devs, the support people weren't, and the production people and the like sales people weren't, but like all the technical staff was sucked up in those endeavors this month. So we have to balance priority. Anyway, I could ramble on forever about many topics. The balance of business versus technical versus sales, and how bootstrapped founded companies deal with all that. I could also go on and talk ad nauseum about dams and the speed at which water comes up when you're in a drought and it's not raining. All kinds of things I could talk ad nauseum about. But I think this is where we will wrap it up. Yeah. If there's anything that you have questions about that you saw here, email support@techidmanager.com. Anything you need, same email address. As always, techidmanager.com, under the resources menu, we have support options for any of you partners that have questions, want to meet with somebody, whatever. You can schedule time there directly. And I hope that you have a great rest of the spring and a great summer coming up. And I will see you in a month, unless you schedule time on my calendar, and then we can meet and talk and chit chat about whatever you want to chit chat about. All right. Have a great day, y'all. Bye.